Greetings everyone! Retro Indie Gamer here with the next part of the Zelda series review. Today we'll be looking at Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons are somewhat significant as far as Zelda games go. They were the first games in the series that weren't developed by Nintendo. Well, the first true Zelda games, that is. Rather, they were developed by Flagship, a joint effort between Nintendo and Capcom. There were originally supposed to be 3 games in this series, but it was ultimately decided that 2 would work better because of the password system the games use. Both were released on the same day in 2001, mainly because the 2 games are part of a set. Now, going for the titles, one might think that these are the same game with slight differences. This is because other game series, such as the Mega Man Battle Network and Star Force series, as well as Nintendo's own Pokemon series, do that. However, unlike those games, the Oracles are actually 2 completely different games. They are connected though, which I'll get into in a bit. Oracle of Ages begins as Link is riding on his horse in Hyrule, where he goes to a temple where the Triforce is kept. It sends him to the land of Labrina. There he meets Impa, Zelda's nursemaid and assistant, who is there to help the Oracle of Ages, Nehru. However, unknown to Link, Impa has actually been possessed by an evil sorceress named Veron so she can get close to Nehru, and possess her so she can go back in time for 100 years and cause chaos and stir sorrow in the land. Link must still go after her. He does so with the help of the Maku Tree, a magic tree similar to the Great Deku Tree who has a bitter crush on Link after he saves her in the past. He must travel back and forth through time with the help of the Harp of Ages, a relic belonging to Nehru, in order to collect the 8 essences of time so he can defeat Veron. Along the way, he constantly runs into a noble named Ralph, who is also trying to save Nehru, given that he's an old friend of hers. While in the past, Link also meets Queen Ambi, an ancestor of Ralph who is taking orders from the possessed Nehru to construct the Black Tower, which is being done to stir sorrow throughout the land, destroying the original purpose to guide the Queen's seafaring lover home. About halfway through the game, Link manages to get some mystery seeds, Veron's weakness, and uses them to free Nehru. However, Veron then possesses Queen Ambi and expedites the construction of the tower. At the end of the game, Link goes to confront Veron and runs into the game's mastermind, Twinrova, along the way. Veron is slain, but not before she fulfills her mission of lighting the flame of sorrow. Oracle of Ages is yet another Zelda game that utilizes the dual world idea made famous by A Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time, and, like the latter, utilizes time travel to get through the game. In fact, there are a few dungeons where you have to go to them in the past because they were destroyed in the present, and there are some segments that must be completed in both the past and present. Oracle of Seasons has a similar plot to Oracle of Ages. It starts out with the same Link being sent to a distant land by the Triforce, this time to the land of Holodrum. Here, he runs into a troupe of traveling performers that Impa is a part of. That's because one of the other members is Din, the Oracle of Seasons. However, she is soon captured by General Onax and imprisoned in his castle, causing the temple to sink underground and the seasons to get out of whack. Who knew that's what we needed? All we needed was a demon to do that. With Link being the outstanding hero that he is, and not because he likes Din or anything, he must save her and the land. Link goes to the underground land of Subrosia, inhabited by a race of hooded creatures, and retrieves the Rod of Seasons. After this, he is told by Holodrum's Maku Tree that to gather the 8 essences of nature so he can defeat Onax and rescue Din, restoring the balance of the seasons. However, Onax is but a pawn of Twinrova, and even though he falls, he fulfills the mission of lighting the flame of destruction. Oracle of Seasons, while similar to its counterpart, is a different type of game. Oracle of Ages is more puzzle-based like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, while Oracle of Seasons is more action-oriented. It also feels just like a game Capcom would develop, as the second phase of the Onax battle resembles something you would see in a Mega Man game, especially the difficulty. One thing that's interesting is that when the project that became the Oracles was pitched, one idea they wanted to do was a remake of the original Zelda for Game Boy Color. The project was never completed due to a few factors like the size of the Game Boy Color screen, but there is evidence that the remake became Oracle Seasons, ranging from similar locales to the fact that all the bosses from the original are in the game, including some bosses that had not been seen in a very long time, or at least since the original. As you probably noticed, the plot of the 2 games are pretty similar and both end on a similar note. almost as if there's another part of the story. That's where the beauty of the oracles lie. If you remember, earlier in the video I referenced the password system being the reason why this project resulted in 2 games instead of 3. The oracles use a password system to transfer certain information between games. There are a lot of passwords you can get, which is why the Oracle Secrets Ferrari lives in the macro tree in both games. She stores the passwords you receive so you can get them if you, say, forget to write them down. After you beat one of the 2 games, you get a code that you can input into the other to start a new game that links them together, and linking them is the only way to see the true ending. It also continues the plot points brought up in the previous game. For instance, we learn in a linked Oracle Seasons game that the skeleton pirate captain we meet is Queen Ambi's lover. There's a reference to the foe Link defeated in the previous game, as well as a few enemies wanting revenge for issues they had with Link previously, such as the Great Moblet. Some characters only exist in a Link game, like Zelda, and a Link game is also the only way to get the most powerful sword in the game. After defeating the main foe in the second game, Zelda is kidnapped by Twinrova, and you learn that everything has happened in the 2 games so they can resurrect Ganon by lighting the free flames and sacrificing Zelda. Din and Nehru help and open a portal to where the 2 witches are. Once there, you must fight them similar to Ocarina of Time, starting out by fighting them separately and then combined, complete with a typo for Onox's name if you're playing a linked Oracle of Ages. How did that not get noticed? After defeating the sisters, they sacrifice themselves and revive a mindless, raging Ganon. The Demon King is defeated, though whether he was slain or not is not entirely clear, since in both the original Zelda and A Link to the Past, the silver arrows were the only thing that could kill the Demon Ganon. Plus, he's alive in Link Between Worlds, but I'm getting way ahead of myself there. After defeating Ganon and rescuing Zelda, along with saving both Holodrum and Labrina, Link is seen sailing away in a ship, hinting that this is the same Link from Link's Awakening and by extension, A Link to the Past, making that Link the only one to appear in more than 2 Zelda games, unless you count the Ghost of Ocarina of Time Link in Twilight Princess. Though it does bring some lines of dialogue into question because when you first meet Zelda, she does not seem to know who Link is. The Oracles are an interesting duo. Would I recommend playing these 2? If you want to play through every Zelda game, then yes. If not, it's up to you. I do enjoy them, but I do find myself playing them less than any other Zelda game, mainly because I would have to end up playing through both games. Plus, there are a few irritating sections of the game I dread repeating. Goron dancing minigame in Oracle of Ages, anyone? A minigame you had to play twice to beat the game, by the way. Not to mention that I sometimes confuse these games with Link's Awakening since they look exactly alike. Great! You survived all the way to the end! I sure hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to like and click that subscribe button in the corner to stay up to date with the latest videos. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with the latest on videos and other projects. While you're at it, here are some other videos you might enjoy. Until next time!